Hello everyone, I'm Alex Dykes, and today we are out here taking a look at the 2016 Lexus RX. This is an all-new model for the 2016 model year, and it has been significantly changed from the 2015 model year. The biggest thing you'll notice about the 2016 RX is this all-new and incredibly large grille. Even our standard RX 350 has this very large spindle grille here. You can see it's much more pinched right here and much larger at the bottom than previous iterations of this grille. There is an F Sport model that uses sort of a squiggly design grille. Again, a lot more bold than the last model. Big changes for 2016 are a full LED headlamp in every model. Now, if you get the base model, we get an LED low beam and an LED high beam in a single projector style unit. The model we're taking a look at here has the optional tri-beam LED lights, which we also see in the Lexus RC. Helping further separate the RX from the smaller competition, length has gone up significantly for 2016, nearly 5 full inches. That makes this right about the same length as a BMW X5. It's actually about 1/10 of an inch longer. This dark section right back here is glass, but the only part that's actually see-through is this small section right around here to give you a little bit of added visibility in the back. Also changed for 2016 is the wheelbase. That's the distance between the front wheels and the back wheels. That's up about 2 inches, and most of that goes right to rear seat accommodations. The rear end design is much more expressive than before. We get 2 different rear tail lamp options. They're all LED for the brake lamps and the running lamps. However, the turn signals are standard halogen bulbs. LED is optional. Now, unfortunately, in the United States, we will not get the sequential LEDs that we see in certain other markets. The rear end of the RX is very vertical, so we get this large bumper section right down here, very well integrated parking sensors, and then twin exhaust tips integrated right into the bumper. Now, if you get the hybrid model, we have a slightly different rear end look. Under the hood, we have an all-new engine for 2016. It's a 3.5-liter V6 engine like before, only now this has direct injection as well as variable valve timing and variable valve duration. Power goes up to 295 horsepower and 267 pound-feet of torque, which is a decent bump over the last model. In addition, we get an all-new transmission. We actually get the same 8-speed automatic transmission we saw in the RX 350 F Sport last year. This is an Aisin 8-speed automatic transmission, and we also see it in a few other luxury crossovers out there. Front seat comfort ranges from good to excellent depending on the model that you get. Now, new Lux fabric is standard, leather is optional. The 4-way adjustable lumbar support and the extending thigh cushion are definitely options that I would get. It really makes the seat an awful lot more adjustable. The size of the RX is obvious when you hop into the back seat. This model gives us more legroom than the last generation, and the last generation was already pretty big in the back. We have 82 inches of combined legroom, that's front legroom plus rear legroom, and that's considerably more than you find in the next size category down. That's about 4 inches more than an Audi Q5, 5 inches more than an X3 or a GLK, right about the same as a Lincoln MKX, and that would be the 2016 model. Helping improve the cargo area functionality, the rear seats also slide forward and backward to give you a little bit more space in the back. Of course, one of the big reasons to get a crossover this size versus that next size category down is this enormous cargo area. It's about 33% larger than you'll find in an X3 or a GLK. We also have room for a spare tire in the back. Now, in American models, it is a compact spare tire, and we get a small amount of additional storage space right in there. The subwoofer in this particular model is well integrated into the side of the rear cargo area. And on the other side, you can see the controls to fold the rear seats up or down. You can see that Lexus lowered the dashboard height, making the dashboard look an awful lot less bulky. And part of the way they managed to make that happen was by moving the infotainment screen from a binnacle in the dashboard to this sort of attached tablet-style display like we see in certain BMW models. This is a very, very large LCD, very similar to what we find in the Lexus LS, only again it's in this module sticking up above the dashboard. Moving down from that, we have 2 large air vents and an analog clock, and we have our Mark Levinson sound system in this upper end model. 2-zone climate control down here, single slot optical display, and direct access buttons to the various media functions. We have a very traditional gated console shifter here, so we move it over and then down for reverse. There's no button to click, down for neutral, and then all the way back for drive. Over to the left for the manual mode, up for up, and down for down. That's also how we engage sport. So if you don't want to manually shift, but you do want the sport shifting in the transmission, we simply move it over to the left. On the driver's side, we have a very typical 4-dial instrument cluster with a color multifunction display between the tachometer and the speedometer. The 2016 RX gets an all-new steering wheel for Lexus. You'll notice that the cruise control controls are still on a stock right down here. However, the button for the distance And this radar cruise control system is right here on the right side of the steering wheel. These buttons control that multifunction display right there in the center of the dashboard. This enables and disables the lane keeping assistance system. The RX has long been associated with a polished highway ride, springs that were perhaps a little bit too soft for some people, but definitely very, very comfortable to drive long distances. Well, that is continuing for the 2016 model year. We also get a suspension that's a little bit tighter than before. I wouldn't call this quite as tight as the 2015 Lexus RX 350 F Sport, but it's awfully close, and that means that the 2016 F Sport is a little bit firmer. Of course, we still have electric power steering, but we do get a hint more steering feedback in this generation than the last. The big difference, of course, is acceleration, because acceleration is actually 3/4 of a second faster than the 2015 model, almost all thanks to this 8-speed automatic transmission. Now we know that because the 2015 RX 350 F Sport was already a hair over a half second faster. The 8-speed automatic transmission has a much deeper first gear, a taller final gear, as well as more advantageous gear ratios, faster shifts, etc. It's also supposedly more efficient than the outgoing 6-speed. Absolute grip is, of course, still notably below the smaller and tighter entries in this segment, like an Audi Q5, a BMW X3, or a Mercedes-Benz GLK. Sort of bucking the industry trend, curb weight has actually gone up slightly for the 2016 RX 350. That's why we don't see a bigger difference in the acceleration numbers between the 2015 and 2016 model, even though we get a little bit more power out of this engine. In terms of fuel economy, when driving this vehicle very gently, I have been averaging about 22 miles per gallon over this day of very mixed driving up here in Portland. That's fairly good for the front-wheel drive RX 350. And interestingly enough, it's really only 1 mile per gallon lower than you'll find in the 2016 Audi Q3, which is significantly smaller than this. It's actually smaller than the Lexus NX as well. Lexus has not released official pricing for the 2016 RX yet. However, based on 2015 prices, we can make a few speculations. The 2015 RX started at $40,970, so you can expect the 2016 model to start between $41,000 and $42,000. The RX 450h Hybrid will likely start around $48,000, and the RX 350 F Sport around $49,000. All new for 2016 is a brand new RX 450 F Sport model, and I expect that to come in right around $52,000. We should know more about official pricing when things get a little bit closer to the on-sale date for the RX. That means that pricing should be right in line with the Audi Q5, which starts around $41,000, the X3 that starts around $36,000, the GLK that starts just about there as well. Cadillac's SRX is a relatively good value, being about this same size, a hair smaller, and starting around $37,000. The most direct competitor to the RX is likely going to be the Lincoln MKX. It starts around $38,000 and goes up to about $56,000, so just about the same range as we get here. The biggest difference, of course, between this and the Lincoln MKX is that we don't have a hybrid model. Instead, Lincoln decided to focus on performance, giving us either a 3.7-liter V6 engine or a twin-turbo 2.7-liter V6 engine that produces significantly more horsepower and more torque than we get either in the base Lincoln MKX or in the Lexus RX that we're taking a look at here. Of course, fuel economy is going to be higher in the Lexus and in the Lexus RX 450h thanks to its 8-speed automatic transmission. The Lincoln MKX and the Cadillac SRX are still stuck at 6-speed automatic transmissions at the moment, so this does fit in a little bit better with the rest of the luxury line, which pretty much has 7 or 8-speed transmissions at this time. Versus the Q5, the X3, the GLK, Lexus's own NX, or the Volvo XC60, the RX is considerably softer feeling out on the road. It doesn't handle quite as well, it is a little bit heavier, and we don't have tires that are quite as wide as some of those other compact options. That all means that this delivers a softer, more highway-tuned ride than the rest of the compact luxury crossovers. That's really what the RX has always given us, and that's continuing for 2016, even though we get this much more aggressive-looking front end. This is really the vehicle for you if you're looking at an Acura MDX or a BMW X5 and you want something a little bit softer, perhaps a little bit more reliable, and you don't need that third row seat. The other excellent use case, of course, is if you're looking at a GLK or an X3 and you say, I really want more cargo capacity in the back because we get about 33% more room behind the hatch than we find in that smaller category. Thanks for taking the time to check out this video. Again, I'm Alex Dykes, and this has been the 2016 Lexus RX 350. Of course, click on those related videos down there at the bottom of your screen, subscribe to this channel, give this video a thumbs up. That does help us get access to cars, and I'll see you next week.